Hello. So, in the second chapter, we are going to discuss about some mathematics. So, you must have heard that maths is the language of physics. So, this is quite true because in order to understand physics in a better manner, we need to understand the mathematics. What is physics? In physics, we try to predict the future. For example, we try to predict the motion of a rocket when we launch it, in which particular direction will it go. Similarly, when we build bridges, we like to predict how much amount of stress will this part of the bridge will have, or this building will have. So in physics we try to predict, okay, and to predict anything we need mathematics. So we will start discussing with few of the important mathematical concepts in this particular chapter. So physics in mathematics. So first thing that we will try to understand is the concept of scalars and vectors. The concept is quite simple, but the important thing is to understand the ways in which we add the vectors or subtract the vectors or multiply the vectors. So that is the important thing that we need to understand. It is very important to understand vectors because without understanding the concept of vectors, you will not be able to understand velocity, force, etc., because they all are vector quantities. So let me just try to differentiate between scalars and vectors, and then we'll move to the details of what are the vectors. Okay, so what are scalars and what are vectors? So scalars are simply the magnitude of a physical quantity. Okay, it's just a number. So scalars are the magnitudes. Okay, scalar tells us about the magnitude of a physical quantity. Now what is the meaning of magnitude? Magnitude is just the numerical value of any physical quantity. For example, let's say the mass of something is 10 kg. So 10 kg is the magnitude, okay, the numerical value of the physical quantity. And what are vectors? So vectors are the quantities which have magnitude, also direction. So they have magnitude as well as direction. Now what does this mean? It means that the physical quantities which have some magnitude, and also there is some information about the direction, or they depend on the direction as well, then those physical quantities are called vectors. Okay, for example, velocity is a vector. Okay, why? Because in velocity we also need to consider the direction. So let's say I write my velocity is 20 meter per second, but this is not enough, this is just the magnitude. So this is only the magnitude. I need to also describe the direction. So let's say I can write my velocity is 20 meter per second towards east. So this will be this term will be, or this thing will be the direction. Now it is not necessary that the direction is like north, east, west, south. It can be like towards left, towards right, or anything like that. So when the physical quantity has some magnitude and also some direction, then we say that that physical quantity is a vector quantity. Okay, so the second difference is that the scalars can be added, subtracted, multiplied, divided by the basic laws of algebra. Okay, so basic laws of algebra for addition, subtraction, multiplication and division are applicable here. What does this mean? It means that we can simply add, subtract, multiply like our usual rules. For example, if the mass of one object is 2 kg and the mass of another object is, let's say, 5 kg, so what will be the total mass? So you can simply add and you will get 7 kg, so it will be the total mass. Okay, so you can use simple algebraic rules for addition, subtraction, multiplication, etc. there is nothing new in this. Okay, I think we can say that scalars are like numbers. Okay, scalars are just normal numbers. So just do not get confused about the concept of scalars and vectors. Scalars are simple numbers and vectors are numbers which have direction. Now the important thing is that vectors cannot be added, subtracted, multiplied, etc. using the basic laws of algebra. We need to use the concept of, or the laws of vector algebra to add, subtract, multiply, divide any physical quantity. Okay, so we cannot directly add, subtract like the usual algebraic rules. We will study about some vector algebra rules. Okay, so that is the main thing that we need to understand in this chapter about vectors. Okay, so we will start after this difference. Then the third point is scalars are represented by using ordinary English alphabets. Okay, represented by ordinary English alphabets. And the vectors, they are not usually represented by ordinary English alphabets. There has to be one important thing. So the vectors are represented by an arrow over the alphabet, or they can also be represented by bold letters. Okay, so in scalars we can use normal English alphabets, like I can write A, X, S, Y, anything. But in if something is a vector quantity, then I need to use a arrow over the alphabet like this, or like this. Okay, or there is another way. You can write the alphabets in a bold manner. Okay, so it is quite hard to usually draw in a copy. So like this, you can use the bold letters as the vector. If something is in bold letters, then it is a vector quantity. So in the books you will find this type of usage of or this type of representation of vectors, because in books it is easier. When you type in Word or Doc, you can easily make the letters to be bold, but it is a bit difficult to make the arrow over the alphabet in printing. Okay, in typing. So in books the bold letters are used, but in usual when you write in your copy, usual, when everybody else write in the copy, so the arrow representation is used, because as you know, it is very difficult to again and again bold any letter. Okay, so we when we write, we usually this representation. Okay, so these are the two different representation of vectors. Now let's discuss about some of the examples of scalars and vectors. So some examples of scalar quantities are mass, distance, volume, density, etc. These are scalar quantities. And examples of vector quantities are displacement, force, velocity, etc. So these quantities have some magnitude along with the direction, and these quantities only have magnitude. So these are the examples of scalars and vectors. So hopefully this difference is clear about the scalars and vector quantities. Now we will discuss about vectors in detail from now on. So vectors are of various types. For example, unit vectors. Unit vectors are the vectors having magnitude 1. Equal vectors. Two vectors are equal if their direction and magnitude are equal. Negative vector or opposite vector. So one vector is opposite to the other if the direction is opposite and the magnitudes are same. So there are quite a few types of vectors. Okay, so we will not go into the detail of the types of vectors, but the important thing here is to understand the vector algebra, how to add, subtract, multiply the vectors. So we'll start with the vector algebra. So we will study about the usual operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So you need to keep one thing in mind, that you need to only understand about the rules of addition and rules of multiplication, because the rules of addition can be used for subtraction and the rules of multiplication can be easily used for division, as we see in the usual algebra. Okay, as we see in the usual laws of algebra, that the rules of addition is similar to subtraction and rules of multiplication are similar to that of division. Only difference is of the sign. Okay, so we will understand about the rules of addition and then we'll move to the rules of multiplication, and the rules of subtraction and division can be easily understood using addition and multiplication respectively. So in multiplication there are two ways or two types of multiplication. So the vectors can be multiplied to either scalars or another vectors. So one is the multiplication between a scalar and a vector. Multiplication between scalar and a vector. And the another type is the multiplication between two vectors. So vector and another vector. Now this multiplication is of again two types. The multiplication between vector and a vector. One is called the dot product or scalar multiplication, and the another is called the cross product or the vector multiplication. So for example, a dot b is equal to ab cos theta. This is the formula for dot product. You will understand what this is in when we will go into the detail of this dot product and cross product. And for example, in cross product it is something like this. In scalar product, what is which simply a, and let's say another scalar is there. Okay, so after the multiplication we will get a into a vector. So this is quite simple. This is just a number multiplied by a vector. So we will understand the meaning of everything when we go into the detail. So this is the vector algebra that we are going to discuss. First we'll start obviously with the concept of or the rules of addition. So vector algebra and addition. So in order to understand how the vectors are added, we can first take two vectors. So let's say I have one vector a which is pointing in this direction, and I have another vector b which is pointing in this direction. Now keep two things in mind. First is that the length of the vector, and second is the direction of the vector. The length represents the magnitude, numerical value. The more the magnitude, more will be the length of the vector. And obviously direction or the arrow, I can also write arrow, direction of arrow of vector. It tells us about the direction in which the vector is pointing, or in which direction the vector is going. So for example, the magnitude is represented by this length and the direction is represented by this arrow. So just keep these two things in mind. So let's say we have taken two vectors, one is vector A and another one is vector B. So I can write them like this, arrow is necessary. Now how to add these two vectors? Okay, so in order to add these two vectors, you need to understand the parallelogram rule. Now I can in the beginning itself tell you the addition of this vectors will be equal to this vector. Okay, a plus b will be equal to this vector. So how is it so? We will discuss. So let's now draw a parallelogram using these two vectors. So what will be the parallelogram look like? What will the parallelogram look like? It will look like this. Okay, and obviously we know that in the parallelogram the parallel sides are equal also. So this will be b vector and this will be a vector. To find the resultant value of a plus b, we can do it by making one perpendicular line from here like this. Okay, so this is the perpendicular here. Now let's assume that this angle is theta and this angle, let's say this angle is alpha. This is A, B, C, D, E. This is E. So according to this figure, if you look closely, you will see that this triangle ADE, it is a right angle triangle. ADE is a right angle triangle. B is somewhere here. According to the Pythagoras theorem, we can write AD square equal to AB plus B whole square plus DE square. Okay, using the Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse equal to perpendicular square plus base square. So this is the hypotenuse, as this is this angle is theta. Okay, why theta? Because these two lines are parallel. So if this is theta, then this will also be theta. This angle will be alpha. Okay, if you look closely, this angle we have taken it to be alpha. So this will be alpha. So because of that, this will be perpendicular and this particular side will be the base. The complete side will be the base. Now AD square is the resultant. Okay, it is the addition of A plus B. As I told you, this is the resultant of A and B. So we need to find AD. Okay, so for finding AD, we need to have AB, B and D. So we know what is AB. We know what is AB. Okay, but we do not know what is DE and what is BE. So for this, there is one important concept of resolution of vectors. So let me just quickly tell you this idea. This is a very important idea, resolution of vectors. So let's say I will use this example only. So let's say this is the B vector. The B vector is something like this. Now we can resolve this B vector in two components. It will have a horizontal component, it will have a vertical component. This B vector is composed of these two components, horizontal component and vertical component. So now we need to find the value. Let's say this is x, this is y. So we need to find the value of x and y in terms of vector B. So if you look closely and let's assume this is theta. Okay, let's assume this is theta. Then you will see that this particular triangle is a right angle triangle, and if this is, if this is y, then this will also be y. So let's say this is y and this is x. So now sine theta will be equal to how much? Sine theta will be equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So what is the perpendicular? Perpendicular is this, base is this, and hypotenuse is this. So it will be equal to y upon b vector. So b vector will be, the y will side will be equal to b vector into sine theta, and let's say cos theta is equal to base upon hypotenuse, that is x upon b vector. So we will get x equal to b vector cos theta. So x is b vector cos theta, y is b vector sin theta. So this is the concept of resolution of vectors. We can resolve any vector in its perpendicular components, that is in its horizontal or vertical components. For example, b here has two components. This component is b cos theta and this component is b sin theta. So similarly, in this case, this part will be b sin theta, just like the below one, and this will be b cos theta. Now what we have all the values now. AD square equal to AB is what? AB is a vector plus B was b cos theta plus D is b sin theta. So ultimately this will give us the magnitude of AD square. So let's simplify this. AD square equal to a square plus 2ab cos theta plus b square cos square theta plus b square sin square theta. So we can simplify it further. Sin square theta cos square theta plus sin square theta. Now we know that this is equal to 1. So 2ab cos theta plus b square. So what ultimately is AD? AD, or I can write a plus b vector. It is, take the root because this is a square. So take the root, a square plus 2ab cos theta plus b square. So this is the magnitude. Okay, I should write this is like this. This is the magnitude. Okay, when we want to write the only the magnitude, we put the modulus sign to represent the magnitude. So this is the magnitude. Now we know that vector also has the direction. So for direction we need to find the angle. Okay, direction can be found out using the angle, that in which direction the vector is pointing. So we need to find alpha. So alpha can be found out by tan alpha equal to d by AE, which will be equal to b sin theta upon a plus b cos theta. Tan theta is or tan alpha is perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So from here alpha will be equal to tan inverse b sin theta upon a plus b cos theta. So by this you can find the value of alpha, which will give you the direction. So this is how you can add the two vectors. Now initially it might look daunting to you, but it is not that difficult. Just remember these two formulas. To find the magnitude, use this formula. To find the angle, use this formula. That's it. How to find the subtraction? Okay, how to add the vectors you have found, how to subtract the vectors. So let's again write subtraction of vectors. So let's say again we need to subtract two vectors a and b. So suppose one vector is like this. This is, let's say, the b vector, and one vector is like this. Let's say this is vector A. So if we need to subtract a vector with v vector, we can also write it like this. Just see this, we can write it like this, can't we? Okay, this is similar. So now I think you must have understood what we will do. We will, during subtraction, we will change the direction. Okay, this minus b means that the direction is changed. So we will change the direction of the vectors which is to be subtracted. So for example, in this diagram we will change the direction of b. So b will be this. So what will be the resultant? Obviously this will be the resultant, as we saw in the addition of vectors. So this will give us a minus b. Okay, now let's say if it was asked that do this b vector minus a vector. So in this case we would have done b vector plus minus a vector. So in this case the direction of a vector has to be changed. For example, in this same example, this is b vector, this is a vector. So what will be minus a vector minus a vector? So now this will be the resultant. So this will be b minus a vector. Okay, so subtraction is similar to all the formulas that we have used above. This and this will be used for subtraction. Just keep in mind that the direction of one of the vectors will be changed. For example, in this direction of b is changed, in this direction of a is changed, and then you can do your usual calculation as in the addition of vectors. Keep this concept of resolution resolution of vectors in your mind. Just it is just simple. There is one vector, let's say vector b. So you can resolve this into two perpendicular components, okay, like x and y, and using basic trigonometry you can find the value of x and y. So one trick is that the side which has theta towards it will have cos component, and the other side will have the sine component. So this is one trick to remember.